Good evening, family, and welcome to another edition of our live stream talk show that's entitled Let's Talk About It. I'm so happy that you've taken time to join us this evening. We appreciate you, and let me say thank you to all of those who have been continuing to support this talk show, this live streaming talk show, as we speak to issues that are relevant to our community. So, those of you who are joining us by way of Facebook, we encourage you to like our page and to share it with your family and friends and coworkers and other persons who you are connected with. And then also, we encourage you to send in your comments. We can see your comments live as they come through. We ask that if you would be so kind to uh, accept the disclaimer with StreamYard. That way, when your comments come through, it'll come through with your name and we will know exactly who the comment is from. And then also, we will put your comments up on the screen so that other family members and viewers will be able to see. So, once again, for those who are watching us by way of Facebook, we encourage you to like our page, share our page. You can even do a host a watch party uh, and get the information out. And then also you can send in your comments. And then for those who are watching us by way of our YouTube channel, we are grateful to you as well. We asked if you would to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then once you subscribe, click on the little bell, and that way it will give you an alert every time that we come on. And why is that important? It's important because not only do we do events or have our regular talk show each Thursday, but we also do special events where we go on location and broadcast, sometimes live and do interviews. And we want to make sure that you have access to that information. So, again, we want to say thank you to those who are viewing us and are watching us by way of Facebook as well as YouTube. We encourage you to submit your comments, both positive and any constructive criticism that you might have, which helps us to do a better job in providing you with information that is relevant to our community. So much is going on in and around, and we it's impossible for us to cover it all in 1 hour. However, what we do try to talk about those things that make a difference in what we are experiencing in and about our lives. I trust that you and your family are remaining safe. We are still in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. Although schools have been opened up, and they're still, for the most part, doing learning by way of virtual. However, some schools have partial in person classes, and so we encourage parents to be mindful of the safety precautions. Make sure that you continue to exercise good common sense, good safe practices. Make sure your young people are aware to continue to wash their hands. I know that wearing the mask may seem a little difficult. However, wear your mask and wash your hands, and then maintain your physical distancing as it relates to the CDC guidelines. So, but feel free to send us any comments, questions that you may have, or if there's anything that you would like to see us to cover in this Let's Talk About It live stream talk show. You're certainly welcome to send us your comments by way of our email address, which is yes, let's talk about it, the number one at gmail.com. The information is on the screen. Yes, let's talk about it. Uh, the number one at gmail.com. So you're always welcome to reach out to us, and we will do whatever we can to address your situation and to get back with you as expeditiously as possible. We are just so excited to have this opportunity where we can come week after week and talk to our viewing audience and make you aware of things that are happening uh, that affect us. As you know, one of our platforms is voter registration. So we have been pushing voter registration, and we are encouraging you, uh, if you have not already registered, please, ma'am, please, sir, register to vote. This will undoubtedly be one of the most controversial and challenging elections in our history. It is already shaping up to be contested. Number 45 is already putting out and laying the groundwork for his contesting. As we know, on yesterday as well as today, he has already said that he will probably not concede should he lose. He has already said that the only way that he could possibly lose is if the election was tainted and fraud was a part of it. And so it's amazing that his press secretary, when asked, said that he will accept a truthful election, and it's interesting that she would say that about him when he, for the most part of his time in office, has been untruthful. He's been untruthful, but he's saying, or she said on his behalf, that he will accept a truthful and a fair election. So, one who has done over 20,000 documented lies says that he will accept the truth. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, if you have not registered to vote, we encourage you to do so by way of the necessary information. Also, what I am encouraging every viewer, everyone that's watching, I am encouraging each of you to request a absentee ballot. And let me tell you the reason why. I know you may be planning on doing early voting, going to the polls. You may be planning on actually going to the polls on election day. That's your plan. But let me ask the question: what happens if something unforeseen uh, falls at your doorstep and you're not able to physically get to the polls? What happens? By that point, it will be too late to request a absentee ballot, and the fact that you are not able to go means that your vote, you will not be able to cast your vote. And so what I am encouraging each of you to do is request a absentee ballot. Request it. Have them send it to you. Hold on to it. And if you are able to go and do early voting or go in person and vote, then all you would have to do after you vote was, when you come back to your home, just tear up the absentee ballot. I am not recommending or encouraging you to do as number 45 has done, to both fill out an absentee ballot and go to the polls and vote. That is fraud. That is against the law. You can be arrested for that. That's a felony. And so, please, ma'am, and please, sir, do not do both. However, if you already have or you get your absentee ballot, and something happens and you're not physically able to go to the polls, you will already have your absentee ballot in hand, and you will be able to fill it out and to submit it. So I am encouraging everyone, request an absentee ballot. Don't miss the deadline. Get the ballot, have it as a backup for those who are planning to go to the polls. Get your ballot, have it as a backup. So in the event that something happens, you will still be able to cast your vote and exercise your civic duties and responsibilities. Voting is, listen, we are not just voting for ourselves, we are voting for our descendants, our grandchildren, our great grandchildren, our great great grandchildren. As we know that there's big challenge right now as it relates to a replacement or a nominee for Supreme Court. Um, Madam uh, she passed away, and the ironic thing is what the Republicans failed to do during the Obama administration when they nominated a person for the circuit for the Supreme Court. They wouldn't even entertain a interview for the nominee. And then even Lindsey Graham went on record and said that it is not right for a president in his last year of his term to nominate a, a Supreme Court justice. And then he went so far to say if it happens at another time, that you could hold him accountable and quote him on it. And isn't it ironic that now that the shoe is on the other feet, on the foot, that they are saying that things are different now and they're going to do everything that they can to try to rush this nominee's confirmation through. And so we listen, we cannot be fooled, we cannot be bamboozled. We cannot be have the wool pulled over our eyes. We must pay attention to what's going on. And listen, and to those who are in those states where these persons are just outright lying and doing wrong, we need to make sure we hold them accountable and we need to vote them out of office. We need to vote them out of office. They are bringing down our democracy, bringing down our country. They're sowing seeds of discourse. They're creating all kinds of problems. And we need to do something about it. That means, listen, if they're lying and they're just outright lying and they don't have any regards to the lies that they tell, and they just think that people are going to back them and support them, and some will. However, we have a responsibility to hold on to the truth and to hold our elected officials accountable. Mitch McConnell is just, oh my gosh, those Republicans and those that know that it's wrong have come out and said that it was wrong prior to now, are bending and bowing and submitting to the pressure and going along with it and not standing up for what is right. And I'm not, it doesn't matter which party that you are part of. We are to stand for what is right. Right is right and wrong is wrong, as my father would say. And it doesn't matter who it's in. We need to do what is right. And we need to hold individuals accountable for doing right. And when they do wrong, especially when they just outright, out blatantly do wrong, we need to hold them accountable. And the best way to do it is to vote their butts out of office. Vote them out. Yes, I said it. Vote them out. So please, ma'am, please, sir, take your responsibility serious. Take this opportunity to do what you need to do. Encourage your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. Encourage folk, listen, to vote. We need participation. All right? Also, let's be mindful of family members that are still struggling and folk that are dealing with COVID-19, our especially our frontline workers, persons in the hospitals, and persons have talked to me about individuals that seem to be forgotten about when it comes to this COVID-19. Certainly, the persons, the custodians, the persons who keeps the hospital rooms clean, the hallways clean, and keep things wiped down. Those persons need to be appreciated. Those persons need thanks. They need to pat on the back. They need encouragement. Many of them, in fact, all of them put their own lives on the line. They do the best that they can to suit up with their protective gear and equipment, even when it was being challenged for them to receive it. And they still, many of them went to work, did their jobs, keeping the rooms and the areas clean and sanitized. And so we want to say thank you to those persons, even those who may be watching us right now. We want to say thank you for the job that you have done. And also our other first line defense workers, our firefighters, our EMTs, paramedics, those who work in the medical field, also even police officers, and all of those persons who have to do what they need to do. And let's not forget our clerks and our cashiers at the supermarket. They continue to go to work. They continue to show up. The stock boys, the stock girls, they continue to keep the food and stock shelves on food stocked on the shelves. And so we want to say thank you to each of you for your participation, for your jobs, for you going and putting yourselves on the line. Thank you to all of you first line workers, even down not just to those in the supermarket, but I know you ladies are happy that the salons are open now, even with the restrictions, and for those who are doing hair and those who are doing nails to make sure folks stay cute and all that kind of stuff. Thank you to those persons. We want to say thank you to our truck drivers, those who continue to transport the food and the necessary supplies to the stores so that they will be able to have it on the shelf when you walk in to get it. Thank you to all of those persons, even to the people at the cleaners who keeps our clothes clean. We want to say thank you to those persons. And we can't forget the persons at the corner store. Yes, the local carryouts. They're doing what they need to do to try to keep things safe. They are still frying wings and fries. They're still fixing cheesesteak subs. And those who like shrimp cheesesteak, they still fixing shrimp cheesesteak subs with lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise, fried onions, hot peppers. Yes, they still putting that on there. Those who like cold cuts and fish subs, they're all that's right in there. Yeah, I listen. I understand. Yes, they're all that's in there, and we want to say thank you to those persons who are making it possible that our lives can be made better just a little bit. Persons even at the gas station. You go in the mini market. Yes, you get your gas. You go inside. You buy a soda or a coffee, or you get some donuts. People at the 7-Eleven, wherever. People at the Walmart. Yes, all of those places. Listen, listen. Let's do something for the next 7 days, starting tomorrow, which is Friday, until next Thursday. Every place that you go where you have to interact with someone in a business fashion. Listen, let's do this. Let's tell that person thank you. While you're in the supermarket buying your bread, your milk, your toilet paper, don't forget the toilet paper, and getting your paper towels and keeping your Lysol and your pine oil and your bleach and all those cleaning products. Listen, when you bypass a person in the aisle and you see him stocking, tell him thank you for making it possible for us to continue to do the thing. Listen, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice. In fact, grandma used to say it like this: it's just nice to be nice. It's just nice to be nice. Sometimes people have such a hard day and have a hard time, especially when they're trying to deal with us's. Y'all know what I'm saying? Deal with us's. We give people a hard way to go sometimes, needlessly, and it's just difficult dealing with us's sometimes. And so, listen, when you see these individuals, tell them thank you. The person on the cash register, tell them thank you. The person, yeah, that helps you with your bags, and the person that keeps the carts, to bring the carts in off the parking lot. Tell them thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you. It's just nice to be nice. And then put a smile on your face when you say it. Don't be all grumpy and mean. Put a smile on your face. Let somebody know that you're not just saying it from your lips, but you're also meaning it from your heart. All right? Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about uh, Baltimore City and the unsanitary conditions that are going on right within the city. As you know, since the pandemic, and it's been on the news every day, morning and in the evening, about the constant problems that the city is dealing with as it relates to trash, as it relates to how things are being discarded. Also, people that are illegally dumping trash and in the alleys, and then trash is not being picked up on time like it normally was, and blocks and communities have trash cans are running over, and so we want to talk about these unhealthy conditions that are in the city of Baltimore, and not only that, but it's creating problems. You know, the rats and well, I tell you what. Let's go to this um, and and let you see this, and we'll talk about this. We'll come back, but let's talk about this. It's something that we need to look at. Let's look at it.
Patchwork of neighborhoods, each with their own flavors and unique concerns. But there's at least one issue that crosses community lines: litter. From street gutters to vacant homes, litter is seemingly everywhere in Baltimore. Cigarette butts collect on sidewalks, carry-out containers pile up on storm drain grates, and mattresses and couches sit abandoned in vacant lots. A number of readers have written in to ask, why is there so much litter in Baltimore? In the latest installment in a series inspired by readers' curiosity, the Baltimore Sun dug a little deeper into the city's trash troubles. To learn more, we visited residents in several Baltimore neighborhoods to find out how they're cleaning up litter in their communities. The city's population density is among the factors that magnify the visibility of trash in Baltimore compared with other areas in the state, and the problem typically multiplies where litter is already present. Teresa DiDonato, a psychology professor at Loyola University, Maryland, said it's a matter of social norms that dictate behavior.
So if you enter a space and you don't see any littering, you're probably less likely to litter. Or if you see one piece of trash, and the injunctive norm of, oh, you shouldn't be littering, probably activated and you're actually less likely to litter. But if you walk into a space and you see a lot of trash already in the area, then the descriptive norm that's activated is people litter here, so you might be more comfortable doing that behavior.
Shifting mindsets isn't as simple as placing trash bins on every corner or in every home. But there is good news. Just as litter attracts more litter, clean spaces also promote cleanliness. Policy solutions provide one front to combat litter, but laws that ban items like foam containers and plastic bags only go so far. That's where grassroots efforts come in, giving residents ownership and solutions to their garbage and creating collaborative partnerships have helped some neighborhoods clean their streets. Sharp Leadenhall, the neighborhood that sits between M&T Bank Stadium and Federal Hill, began employing youth and adults from the community to pick up debris left behind by people going to stadium events. And in Bocheck, Madison East End, rebranding the community has helped residents reclaim their streets and begin to ward off litter and crime.
And we out here together, everybody should be together. It's a community, not the blue. I mean, you can be able to sit out on your steps and feel comfortable because of worry about gunshots and people fighting and this and that and the other in this community.
Though the efforts may seem small, community cleanups have the power to prevent littering if spaces once known as dumping sites are tidied up. The precedent for littering disappears, and keeping it clean becomes the new normal. If you
take a heavily littered area and you clean it, you are basically basically reshaping the norm that people don't litter here. So then the next person who's in that space might be less inclined to litter.
What else do you wonder about Baltimore? Send us your questions at baltimoresun.com/ask.
Okay, so that was one of the clips. Talks about Baltimore crime. Talks about litter, loitering, and that sort of thing, and how communities are working together to bring about a change and help to make a difference. Listen, I remember, and some of you probably can relate to this. When I was coming along, there used to be a real big thing in the communities, especially every Saturday morning when the weather was good and it wasn't raining. I remember we would get up in the morning and go outside. Everybody in the neighborhood was cleaning up the block. They had clean block clubs. Yes, we would. We had. If you lived in them row houses, we had marble steps, and everybody had the little Uh, brush, and you had Comet or Ajax, and we would be outside in the morning with the scrub brush and the Ajax, and we would be scrubbing those marble steps, getting them nice and clean and white. And then they had, remember, they had the tires that they would cut and turn them inside out and put them on along the street curbs, and they would fill them with dirt and they would plant flowers in them. That's because people in the community, in the blocks, had some pride, and they call it in the hood, but we had pride in our block. In fact, the Afro American newspaper, they used to have during the summertime something called the Afro Clean Block Parties. And what they would do is they would take and they would you would decorate your block and with the flower pots, and they would paint them and put pictures on them. And even if there were some vacant houses that were boarded up, they would paint the plywood on the door, over the windows, painted with pictures and morals and things like that, so that the block would be pretty and beautified. And so what happened is when they would come by to view your block, those who would win, the Afro would give that community association, they would give them money to have a block party. And they would, whatever day there was, that day that it would be, they would block the streets off, and everybody would come in the streets and they would have a block party because they felt a sense of a community. They felt a sense of relationship. They felt a sense of being belonging because folk cared about their neighborhood and their community. In fact, for the most part, you knew everybody in your block. Sometimes in the next block down, and the next block on the other side, you knew just about everybody in the block. And those of us who were young, we would call the homeowners and adults Mr. Smith and Miss Jones and Miss Mary. Everybody had a title. We didn't call folk by their first name. And my parents didn't allow that. They called that respecting your elders. And as a result of that, we would do things for them, and we would go to the corner store for them, and they would give you a quarter or give you a dime, and you would be happy just to get that little change because people were involved in their neighborhood and their community. In fact, we live in blocks and communities today, and some of us don't even know our neighbors who live right next door or across the street. We don't even know people's names, and that's sad. That's sad that we've come to a place where we have no relationship with anybody outside of our homes. And so it's no wonder why people are having issues. But the problem in Baltimore with this trash, we know that at one point some of the DPW workers were sick, and one of the substations at one time. Um, um, had individuals that had contracted the virus, several, and so they closed that substation down. Um, but uh, but listen, but the problem is getting bad. I'll show you. I'll show you another one. It's bad. Let's go to this and take a look at it, because we have to remember that this is all a part of our community, all a part of our lifestyle and our children. Listen, listen.
Ray, what's happening here in the 500 block of Mosier Street in West Baltimore is happening all over the city. You have trash that is piling up in front of homes. Some of this trash, in some cases, has been here almost 2 weeks. Now, we reported last week the reason for some of the disruption was because a number of workers at that Eastern Sanitation Yard got COVID-19. So it was expected that there would be some delay, but now what we're seeing and hearing is that workers that are supposed to come in are not coming in because they're afraid of getting COVID-19. So that is adding to further delays.
How about let's get this trash off the block?
For Shirley Jones and her fellow neighbors, something stinks.
We're just tired of the trash, as you can see. We do understand, with this pandemic, a lot is going on, but they also have to take us into consideration.
Jones says it's been almost 2 weeks and their neighborhood's trash still has not been collected.
And we have kids in the neighborhood, we have elderly. This is not healthy. We have rats. You know, it's everything. So it's bad.
This past week, DPW suspended operations at the Eastside Sanitation Yard after 10 workers came down with COVID-19. Recycling collection was stopped for 3 weeks. Other sanitation crews have been on permission leave, which means they haven't been working, but still were getting paid. DPW called them back to work, but many have refused to return, leading to delays now in trash collection. The union that represents solid waste workers released a statement that reads in part, quote, the effects of the coronavirus on the solid waste workforce could have been better anticipated by DPW. Solid waste employees were a largely forgotten workforce. Safety measures recommended by the CDC have not been made available in the same degree for solid waste employees as for city health workers and first responders, unquote. DPW says it is working as fast as it can to get service back up to speed, which includes assessing alternative means for immediate trash collection, receiving volunteers from other city agencies to collect trash, and hiring contracted help. Full throttle here, taking things a step further, saying that all permission leave for solid waste workers has now been revoked and workers must return to work immediately. And if they don't, their jobs will be forfeited. To take a closer look at the union statement in full, we have it on our website, WBALTV.com, and on our mobile app. We're live in West Baltimore tonight. I'm Lowell Melser, WBAL TV 11 News.
All right, so there you have it. Another video link there showing you the problems in Baltimore and as it relates to the trash. And listen, especially now that schools are back open and kids are moving about, it is dangerous to be out there moving around, moving about, and having trash the way that it is. And it is it is not just the trash from the residents putting out their normal trash in the trash cans. It's also a problem with people doing illegal dumping in alleyways and parking lots and lots that are vacant. People are dumping trash with mattresses and all kinds of things. And so what's happening is that's creating a problem for rodents and rats to harbor and to hide up under and to nest under. And so listen, we have to understand that these problems in our community creates other problems. They create health problems. They create a danger and safety and all of that. In fact, on this next video that I'm going to show you, listen, it is so bad that I saw a cat in the alley where rats were running around, and I don't know whether the cat was full and not hungry, but the cat wasn't even chasing the rats. Now that tells you something right there. That well, I know you don't believe me. You don't. But you listen. You don't. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Let me show you. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. It's a problem. It's a problem, and we need to do something about it. It's a problem.
Well, Fox 45 first showed you the giant rats in this infested eyesore last night. Today, Fox 45's Riel Creighton went back to the site to ask what's being done about it. Riel?
Well, Mary, so far we found out on a Sunday, not a whole lot, but we are staying on top of the rat and trash troubles in this neighborhood. We took this problem to those who hope to lead the city out of this mess.
South Baltimore rats.
And they're almost as big as the cats.
Running rampant.
It's just a bunch of BS.
Stephen Horvath seeing red.
That's going on. Why the hell am I paying taxes?
The stunning images of this trash-filled alleyway overrun by rodents, sometimes fighting, Fox 45 showed you yesterday behind Horvath's house, something he says he's called 311 DPW about for months. No answer.
They don't give a rap about this section of town. It's a travesty that we have a city that's piling up in trash.
Fox 45 showed this video to independent candidate for mayor Bob Wallace.
Rats running all over the place. We're the embarrassment of America.
The stench of this garbage rising all the way to the top. But Wallace says signals deep structural failed leadership. He asked, why isn't Baltimore looking at other solutions, like public-private partnerships for trash collection?
All these jurisdictions are facing COVID issues, right? But yet they are getting their trash collected. They're getting their recycling done. Why is Baltimore the only jurisdiction that's not getting that done?
Meantime, yesterday, his opponent, Council President Brandon Scott, helping clear another illegal dump site, telling us he's focused on trash too.
Of course, I am frustrated with the service that we're getting in the city of Baltimore. This is why I directed the city council to have a hearing. This is why I sent a letter to the acting director.
Saturday, DPW told Fox 45, we will investigate this issue and will work with code enforcement to address. A day later, rats remain, and so does the trash.
But late tonight, Republican candidate for mayor Shannon Wright did send us also a statement to a response to our questions that read in part. It said, rats fighting in Baltimore should come as no surprise to anyone. Taxpayers in Baltimore have not been given a fair shake. I will change that. It went on to say that Baltimore cannot thrive without bold, principled leadership. Meantime, so far tonight, there's also no word from DPW on when exactly they will clear that mess. We're live in North Baltimore tonight. Riel Creighton, Fox 45 News.
Okay, so did y'all see what I saw? Did y'all see the cats in the alley with the rats running around? And the cats wasn't even chasing the rats. It was almost like the cats was like, well, okay, I'm outnumbered. And one of the problems that I have with the candidates that's running for mayor, I hear them talking. However, I have not seen from any of them a clear, documented, laid out plan to address, and I'm just talking about this situation now, to address this. They're saying, yeah, something needs to be done. Okay, but yeah, if you were the mayor, what specifically would you do? I heard Brandon Scott saying, yeah, he's upset about it. He sent the letter to the acting director and he's requesting a hearing. But listen, you are the president of the city council. You are the president of the city council. And this is the best that you can do. And you want the citizens to elect you to be the mayor, and you have not given a plan, a clear, concise plan of what it is you would do, such as we will hire more sanitation workers, or we will send out a bid, and we will contract other refuge disposable companies as contractors to get in these communities and to help with this trash. I mean, you're talking about it, but you're not giving us a clear plan of what it is you would do. The Republican candidate, she says, "Oh yeah, it's bad, and we're going to make it right." Okay, but what is your plan? What is your plan? A clear, concise, documented plan on what you would do and how you would go about it, and what the cost is going to be to the taxpayers. Listen, if we're going to ever get to a place where we're going to change some things around, one of the ways that we have to do is we have to hold our elected officials accountable. We have to hold them accountable. And sometimes we have to just clean house. Sometimes you've had people that's been in the system for so long, they've become a part of the system. And by becoming a part of the system, they have become a part of the problem. Sometimes we've got to bring in new ideas. We've got to bring in new faces. We've got to bring in new people. We've got to bring in a new way of doing things. We have to come in with a new mindset. Listen, we ought to, at this point, have some clear, documented plans. Not kicking around words. We need some clear plans on how we're going to address the problems that we are facing in and around our city. We need plans, and then those plans need to be carried out. It is often said it's not that the plan fails. In most cases, it's just that we fail to plan. And in some cases, we fail to plan appropriately. If in fact that the trash collection is a problem, then perhaps maybe they need to go. And I know they have trash collection. The city DPW have trash men that are out or collecting trash during certain areas during the course of the night. Because I know when I was driving bus and I was at the fire department and stuff, we was out all hours of the night. You would see the trash trucks going through the city. But maybe they need to go to a 3 shift workers. Maybe they need to do that instead of just having the workers on the daytime and then those workers on the nighttime. I don't know. They may have 3 shifts. I don't know. But one of the things that we need to do is come up with a better system than what we currently have, because the system that we currently have evidently is not working. And then to make matters worse, when you put on top of it COVID-19 and the restrictions, it makes it worse. It makes it worse. It makes it worse. I mean, they may need to look at partnering with the juvenile, or not the juvenile, but the penal institution, with the work release program that they have with the convicts and those who are on minimum nonviolent restrictions or whatever nonviolent situations. Maybe they can bring them in. They got them on work release during the daytime, so maybe they can bring them in to be part of the work release, as a part of the work release program, to help uh, do the trash delivery or trash removal. Put them on the trash trucks. Listen, we have got to listen. They've got all of these folk in jail. They claim that they need a way to do something with it. You know, we need a plan. You've got all of these folk that are in prison. You could take those folk and work out a system where they can be a part of the helping with the trash collection. It's part of their work release. If you're claiming that you don't have enough personnel to do it, listen. Sister Wiley says they need to go back to twice a week trash pickup. Listen, twice a week trash pickup, I believe is was a great thing. I know here in Baltimore County, they don't do the regular trash pickup twice a week. They only do it once a week, but then they have another once a week or twice a week where they do recyclables. And I know the city has recyclables and stuff like that, but they also need to have more accessibility where you can go, and especially in communities where they have the trash station substation. I know right there at the 29th Street and I think Sisson Street, there's a place there, right there before you cross the bridge, where you used to be. I don't know if you still can. Folk used to be able to go and take their trash there, all kinds of items, not just household items, but trash items as well. Listen, we need to be able to find a way to keep our communities clean. And then they talked about in one of the videos how they have these cameras in certain areas to record people that are doing illegal dumping and stuff like that, where they can get the tag number of these trucks and these vehicles that are dumping this trash. Listen, but from my understanding, that's not working too well. They're not actually going after some of these persons, or they're not getting the proper information, or the camera's not capturing what needs to be captured. Listen, the bottom line is trash is piling up. It's making our city filthy. It's making our city unhealthy. It's making it dangerous for those who have to walk around about. So then, not only do you have the problem with the trash, then you have the problem with the unhealthy sanitary conditions, with the odor and that sort of thing, and all kinds of waste and stuff being out in the open, because you know what happens when trash is left and it's not in proper trash cans or receptacles. The dogs get in them and tear the bags open, trying to get the food out of them, the garbage and stuff like that, and then that gets strode all over the place. Or the squirrels, they get in them and that gets strode all over the place, and then it's just a problem. And then it's not just with that. Then you've got the other side of the health issue with the rodent. You know, rat bites, got rats carry rabies and all kinds of infections. So listen, so then you've got the rats in the community, and then what happens? The rats find their way into your houses. Now you've got problems with your house being infested with rats. And then if you've got young people, there's been numerous cases where rats have bitten kids while they were in the crib sleeping, or while they were in the bed sleeping at night. Listen, listen, we have got to understand that this is a problem, and we have to hold our elected officials accountable. And we have to demand better answers. We're reaching out to these potential candidates for mayor. Hopefully, we will have them on the show in a few weeks. And these are one of the questions I want to ask them. Listen, don't just tell me that you're going to do something about it. I want to know, what is your plan? Tell me what the plan is for you to do something about it. And this is what we have to do. If you want our vote, you want us to vote you in office, you want us to give you an opportunity to lead us, then you have to show me something before you get in there. You have to give me a plan. You have to tell me what you're likely to do. Now we know once you get in, there are a lot of restrictions and things that you have to go along with, and you have to deal with. You gotta deal with the city council, and you've got to deal with the city solicitor, and you've got to deal with that. But listen, the bottom line is you ought to have a plan. And if the plan that you present, they say that's no good, then ask them, how do we make this work? How do I make this work and still abide by the parameters that are set within the guidelines of this bill? We have to be more aggressive, we have to be more proactive, and we have to hold people accountable. We cannot get caught up voting by egos, voting by popularity, supporting people because of their gender. Oh well, we're going to vote for her because she's a female, or we're going to vote for him because he's a black man, or we're going to vote for him because he's young, or we're going to vote for this one because of this one. Listen, regardless of whether you're black, white, or grizzly gray, the bottom line is, what are you going to effectively do to make a difference in office? That's what we want to know. What are you going to do? And don't just you give us something blank. Listen, you're going to do it, and then tell me, what is your time frame? Within my first 60 days in office, this is what I plan to enact. And see, and if you have a plan going in, it makes it a whole lot easier to execute your plan. Because the minute that you have been deemed to be the winner, you now have the opportunity to put together a transition team. And you can begin to start putting things in place. So the day that you take office, the hour after you get sworn in, after the high fives, the hugs, the handshakes, the greetings, and all of that stuff, after you get all of that done, let's go to work. Because you have a plan and you're working your plan. That's what we have to do. So we're going to try to get these persons on, have them come and talk to our community. And I'm going to hold their feet to the fire. I'm going to ask them, listen, I hear you saying that you think something needs to be done. I hear you talk about it's a shame. I hear you saying, that it shouldn't be this way. Okay, fine, we got that. But tell me what it is you're going to do. What's your plan? And those of us who have access to the emails and to those websites and the internet, we need to send these persons emails. We need to send them correspondence. We may need to send them letters. We need to let them know. We want to know what it is exactly that you are planning to do for us as it relates to these issues in our city. We cannot afford to just sit idly by. We've got economic issues, disparities in our communities. We've got businesses that are closing up, have already closed. Many of them will not even open back up. We've got the financial issues as it relates to our economy. We've got the pandemic issues. Listen, right here in our city and in our county and in our state, we have problems. And these problems need to be addressed by our leaders. And we need to hold our leaders accountable. And if they cannot do the things that we feel that they need to do to make things better for our community and for our lives, then we need to simply say, we gave you a try. Now it's time for you to go and vote them out of office. We don't have a whole lot of time. We don't have the time we used to have. We need to make a difference. Let me hear from you. Certainly, your comments, your questions, your concerns, um, things that you may want us to address during our live streaming show. Please reach out to us at yes, let's talk about it, the number one at gmail.com. Once again, that's yes, let's talk about it, the number one at gmail.com. We are available for you. To respond to you. We want to thank you for your time, for your participation, for your energy, for those who submitted comments. We want you to know that we appreciate you. We are doing this to be a service to you. We are doing this so that we can make a difference in the lives of our people. Thank you for those who submit your comments. Thank you. I want you to know I appreciate your comments. I appreciate those who submit your comments to us. I appreciate you. And as always, listen, I thank you for the viewer. It's up on the screen. Um, yes, we're trying to reach out to these politicians, um, get them here so that they can talk to us right here on Let's Talk About It. Well, the good news is we always have the opportunity to share. You always have uh, our voice. We're here for the community. We're here to try to make a difference. We're here to try to do some things that's going to help us all because the bottom line is we all need help. We all need help. The bottom line. And if we are going to make a difference, we have to participate and we have to get involved. We cannot go to the racetrack, call ourselves going to exercise, and stand on the fence. You get all dressed up in your sweatsuit, you go to the racetrack, and you stand on the side and you talk. Not one lap have you done around the track. Listen, we have got to come, put ourselves together, get involved, make a difference, do some things that's positive. I love you. I love each of you. I want you to remain safe. I want you to practice uh, uh, physical distancing. I don't know why they call it social distancing because talking is socially, but physical distance, that's 6 feet apart, at least minimum 6 feet apart. Practice physical distancing, wash your hands, wear your mask, and listen, do what's right. Do what's right, and we'll see you next week. Same channel, same station. Once again, we'll be back. Have a great day.